You ever hear a sound so dry it almost crackles in your bones? That was the air that week. Angry, brittle, every blade of grass snapping underfoot like it wanted to break free and run. I've lived through plenty of droughts back when I was still running fire crews, but this one felt like the kind of season that tests what you're made of. The county had us on a level 5 fire ban. No campfires, no barbecues, not even a cigarette outside unless you wanted a lecture from the sheriff and a fine that could pay your mortgage. But somehow, the HOA next door figured their rules mattered more than physics, called it maintenance burning. I called it suicidal. My wheat field, 10 months of sweat and hope, was finally ready for harvest. Or it was until the day it all went up in a wall of flame, courtesy of the same folks who fined me last month for non-compliant soil color. Ironic, right? That's how this mess started. Picture this, the HOA Cedar Ridge. Brand new artificial, not a real cedar within 5 miles decides to play with fire, literally. Their plan: burn down brush on their side of the fence. My plan: try to keep them from burning down everything I own. Before we get lost in the smoke, drop your city and your time zone in the comments. I love seeing how far these HOA stories travel. And if you like a little poetic justice served hot, you're going to want to hit subscribe. Trust me, this one delivers. They say a wheat field breathes when it's ripe. Mine was breathing in golden waves that week, each head nodding like it knew its moment was close. I'm Scott Morris, 54, retired firefighter, now a stubborn small-time farmer by choice. My days are simple. Rows straight, records tidy, coffee black, equipment clean. For most of the year, nobody bothers me except for the Cedar Ridge HOA that sprouted up next door like a rash you can't get rid of. On Monday, a white SUV parks half on, half off my gravel. 2 women step out, matching polo shirts, clipboards attitude like they invented grass. The taller one, Monica, is the treasurer. The other lipstick, bright enough to signal planes, frowns at my windbreak, like the trees just insulted her. They start snapping pictures, jotting down notes. Height variance, Monica says, pointing at my wheat. It's famous for it, I tell her it's wheat. Visual clutter, she calls it. I remind her their new houses are what's adjacent to my field, not the other way around. Right then, a third car shows up, sleek black, and Savannah Clark steps out like she's about to host the 6 o'clock news. Savannah's the HOA president, the kind who smiles like a stock photo and talks like she's reading off a teleprompter. Mr. Morris, she announces, your field is unsightly and the dry grass is a hazard. We'll be conducting a maintenance burn this week, so you'll need to clear your boundary. I nearly laugh. You planning to burn under a level 5 fire ban? The county says no burns, no grills, no nothing. She flashes that smile, all confidence and cologne. We have an exemption, our contractor certified. Let me guess, Greenland Resources, I say, watching her eyelid twitch. If they bring fire within 50 feet of my wheat, the only thing getting burned is your paperwork. Monica scribbles on her pad. Savannah tells her to document my refusal to cooperate, and I show them the county PDF, big bold letters, no exemptions. I even mention the certified letter they signed for last Friday. I don't bluff. They leave behind a flyer, creating harmony through consistency. I use it to shim the wobbly leg on my workbench. By noon, the sun's beating down, the wind has that edge that says trouble's coming, and I'm checking my boundary tightening wires, retaping blue flags. I text my daughter Lily, she's away at college. Heads look perfect, 3 more days, if the wind behaves. She replies with a weed emoji and a heart, the modern high five. Around 2, here comes a crew, yellow vests, burn barrels, propane tanks setting up like it's tailgate. Saturday. I stroll over slow and deliberate. Afternoon, fellas. You planning on lighting those barrels today? The oldest shrugs. We just do what the lady says. That lady's about to move you into felony territory, I say, flashing the county rules again. You want a clear brush, I'll help pull it with a mower and rope, but you light a flame next to my wheat. I promise you, a camera's the least of your problems. The kid with the patchy beard fidgets. Trevor said it was fine. Trevor can explain it to the judge. I reply, phone camera on. They pack up barrels, toss back in the trailer like dogs that didn't get their treat. That night I email everything photos, PDF, truck plates to the fire marshal, the HOA Savannah. I print copies for my if-when folder. Firefighters love contingencies. Retired ones marry them. The next morning dawns strawberry milk pink, a gift. I run the pump check lines, listen to the happy hiss of water under pressure. No sign of the crew, just some new white flag staked on the HOA side restoration zone. I actually let myself breathe. By mid-morning, I go into town for parts, gone 90 minutes. I come back to find a scorched patch on the HOA's common strip 20 feet from my fence. Heat's still coming off it. Somebody lit something. My irrigation line is melted, a cheap nozzle half buried in ash. No note, no apology, nothing. I document everything, angles, coordinates, even the wind speed from my Kestrel. I call the HOA voicemail. Savannah doesn't answer. I leave a message. Someone conducted an open burn adjacent to my field. We're under level 5. I've notified the county. Don't light anything again. The wind strokes the wheat like a warning. Lily gets home that night, finds me rewrapping the melted line. Bad, stupid, or just bad, she asks. Stupid, I say, which is worse because stupid spreads. She wants to call the sheriff. I say the county already knows. Paper likes paper, I tell her. We'll give them more paper. She shakes her head. I hate that you have to play chess with people who can't read a weather map. I don't mind chess, I say. I mind when people think the king is a mirror. Night falls, hot weeds and plastic in the air. I lay out my old turnout bag, goggles, gloves, fire shelter rope. The water pressure's low shared line's been throttled, so I make a note to pull from the holding tank if needed. I stand by the fence before bed, listening just the hiss of water and a distant freeway sigh. My field waits. Next morning, I'm up before sunrise. The field looks fine, but you can smell old smoke forever. The burn scar's still there, and the ground stinks of melted plastic and propane. I take more photos, flag the spot, measure 14 feet 8 inches from my property. That's a single gust away from disaster. My phone blinks voicemail from Monica. The HOA is conducting authorized vegetation management. Any claims of damage must be submitted formally. Her tone smug, rehearsed. Authorized. Protect the community. Translation. Dare you to prove it. Mid-morning, the wind shifts hot and bone dry. My neighbor Pete Hanlon pulls up. You see what they're doing behind the tennis courts, he asks. Landscaping crew, same barrels one was smoking. Pete's cousin works for the county, no permits for Cedar Ridge. That's all I need to hear. If the wind shifts, get your wife and dogs out first. He nods, gravel popping as he drives off. I dig into my if-when folder. New section, witnesses. Pete's name goes at the top. Monica's voicemail transcript gets stapled in. Organizations, half the battle. The other half, patients waiting for them to mess up so bad even their lawyers can't explain it away. That afternoon, a white drone buzzes overhead Cedar Ridge Safety Initiative logo. They're filming their fire prevention project. I film them right back. That's how you win with bureaucrats, outpaper them. By 4 p.m., it's 103 degrees air humming with tension. I spot the same crew unloading tools behind the gravel line. This time I film from the fence. Gray-templed leader tilts a propane torch. I see a tongue of fire. I narrate time-date violation. They spot me scatter kick dirt over the flame, but too late. I send the footage to the county fire marshal. Confirmation pings back in minutes. That night, the HOA emails me code violation notice for overgrown combustible vegetation. I laugh so loud I scare a crow off the roof. They burn my property, then fine me for it. My reply is short. Thank you for the notice, Savannah. I'll include it in my complaint, which now includes video of your contractors breaking the law. Lily pushes pasta around her plate at dinner. They're not going to stop, are they? Nope. They think they're untouchable. What do we do? Same thing you do with fire, starve it, contain it. Wait for it to burn itself out. She almost smiles. You sound like Grandpa. He'd have hated these people, I say. The wind rattles the windows. I lay out more hose, fill the pump, listen for engines. Around midnight, I hear generators on the HOA side. Through the fence, orange glows and shadows move another burn, quieter, but still flame. I record from the dark smoke in my eyes. It all comes rushing back, wildfires, radios, panic. At 3 a.m. the wind shifts, the Santa Anas roar through the valley, bending trees, rattling shutters, and I see a red glow behind the ridge. My stomach drops. I throw on my old turnout coat boots and run for the truck. Flames are already crawling through the brush right where the HOA burned. The wind's howling, tossing embers everywhere. I spray what I can, but the pressure's low and the flames just laugh, finding fresh fuel in the wheat. From across the field, I hear voices, maybe the HOA, maybe contractors, panic rising. Lily's on the porch in her robe yelling. The wind shifts the fire arcs toward the HOA, now not my field. What started as their controlled burn is heading straight for their million-dollar houses. It's a sight I'll never forget. A wall of orange eating its way through manicured lawns. Decorative fences popping like toothpicks, SUVs melting in driveways. Savannah in her red blazer is out there, arms waving, yelling orders like the flames care what her bylaws say. They don't. The fire swallows everything. The fire department finally arrives, water hissing, steam rising, but the heat's too much. I see one firefighter stumble. Recognize the helmet style makes my heart clench. For a moment, I almost run down to help, but Lily stops me. You've done enough, Dad. By dawn, Cedar Ridge is a blackened wasteland, chimneys standing, everything else gone. News vans crowd the highway. Headlines scroll, HOA ignored fire ban. My name's in print. I'm not a hero, just stubborn and tired. The county investigator shows up, confirms what I already know. The fire started on the HOA side, jumped the fence, fueled by accelerant and arrogance. Savannah shows up, tries to blame me. The sheriff shuts her down, no permits, no leg to stand on. Evidence everywhere, photos, videos, emails, even a recording of Savannah saying, "Light it up tonight, blame Morris's overgrowth." Charges come swift, reckless endangerment, arson, falsifying documents. The trial's a circus. Her lawyer blames me, blames the wind, blames anything but the truth. The jury doesn't buy it. Guilty on all counts. 2 years in county custody, restitution to every homeowner in Cedar Ridge stripped of its HOA powers. After Lily and I sit on the porch, the field's black, but the wind feels clean. She asks if I feel vindicated. Not really. We just stopped losing. The land starts to green up. Neighbors come together, no more HOA, just folks rebuilding planting gardens, digging new water lines. My daughter starts a youth gardening program, Ashes to Acres. Hope grows back faster than you'd think. Savannah writes from jail an apology, sort of. I keep it, but forgiveness takes time. The county calls it the rebirth of Cedar Ridge. I just call it breathing room. So if you're still here, tell me where you're watching from and if you believe karma has a schedule. Drop your own HOA horror stories in the comments. I want to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe. Because sometimes justice doesn't just knock it, burns the house down and plants a field in its place.